formally to eventually give its assent to the new Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2022 ends the 12-year journey of the old law under which 3 general elections and many other isolated polls have been conducted. To this end, we actually deem it fit to look at the role of this Electoral Amendment Act in achieving free and fair 2023 elections. That's the topic we want to look at, the role of the Electoral Amendment Act in achieving free and fair 2023 elections. And yes, normally we should have the umpire and probably a representative of the politician. So it was in, we actually decided to bring in the Resident Electoral Commissioner for your state, our own Dr. Mutiu Agboke. Is here in the studio. He barely made it. He rushed into the studio just now. Dr. Agboke, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Thank you.
Of course, we also should have, or we thought we should have, a politician, and so he agreed to be here, a former member of the Augustus House Assembly, Honorable Fasil Bakene. But of course, he just called that he's still on queue to actually try to get field to get here, and that is the situation we find ourselves. We really hope that it will get better. But we'll continue the program, and we also hope that viewers at home will join us at one point or the other, so that you can also bear your minds and, of course, raise issues and ask questions that we hope we will be able to answer, or just make your opinion known on this topic that we are discussing, the role of the Electoral Amendment Act in achieving free and fair 2023 elections. Tony Olaniro is also here.
Yes, so many things, so many ways. Back and forth between them, the House of Assembly, National Assembly and the presidency, and finally the wait is over. We have a new law that would usher us into the 2023 general elections. And Nigerians are happy, but we would be in a few minutes pointing out some of the gray areas and things that we want our guests to shed light on.
Of course, don't forget that President Muhammadu Buhari signed into law the Amendment Electoral Bill on Friday, February 25, and he described it as reformative and progressive. Before we start our discussion, let's look at 10 key provisions of the new Electoral Act. 10 very important key provisions of the new Electoral Act. Then we'll start to take the thoughts of our guests, and later on open the line for our viewers to be part of the program. Yes, clause 29, paragraph 1, I think, says parties must conduct primaries and submit their list of candidates at least 180 days before general elections. Clause 65, INEC can review results declared under duress. Let's have it. Yes, let's have it. The third one, clause 3, funds for general elections must be released at least 1 year before election. The fourth one is clause 51. The total number of accredited voters will become a factor in determining overvoting at election tribunals. Number 5, clause 54, paragraph 2, provisions for people with disabilities and special needs. That was stressed. 6, clause 47, legislative backing have been given for smart card readers and any other voter accreditation technology that INEC deploys. 7, clause 34, political parties have the power to conduct a primary election to replace a candidate who died during an election. 8, clause 50, INEC has the legal backing for electronic transmission of election results. 9, clause 94, early commencement of campaign. Early commencement of campaign season, that is 150 days to election day and ends 24 hours before election. Clause 10, this is one of the gray areas I think Sunday was talking about, and which the president have also asked the National Assembly members to look into. Clause 34, anyone holding a political office must relinquish the position before he can be eligible to participate in electoral process as a candidate or delegate, which means political office holders, political appointees cannot be part of primaries, either direct or indirect, except they resign their appointment before the primaries. So we'll come to that. So these are the 10 key areas of the new amended electoral act, so to say, that I mean assented to, bill before, now act, because I said it to. Yes, but Dr. Mutsi Abeokuta, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Today, let's start from you.
All right. The one that has been a long debate is electronic transmission of results. Now that this is now a thing that INEC can use. Now, what is the advantage of this to election and to the outcome of the results?
First point I want to make is that when Alhaji Abeokuta was reading out those 10 points, you know, in our legal jurisprudence, when enactment, you know, is at the point of amendment, it goes in forms of bill. It is at that point you talk of clause. I saw you people rolling clause. Now, you don't say clause again.
Okay.
Now we have law.
Okay.
So there must be sections of those law you refer to.
Okay, should be section.
Sections of
Okay.
those law. So that is the first point.
Thank you.
I want to make it.
It's no more a clause.
No, it's no more a
It's
clause.
section of the
It's
law
section of the
because it has been assented to.
That's number
Okay.
one. Now, let me now correct a misrepresentation, either in the media or in the public space. The debate or the conversation is not surrounding just the issue of electronic transmission of results. Electronic transmission of results is one of the things. INEC position is that there should be a legislation, there should be a legal framework that will empower the Commission to deploy, to employ, to use technology in all its ramifications to conduct election with a view to giving credibility to the process.
Okay.
So electronic transmission of results is just one aspect of that. Because hitherto, the only thing we have not been doing is just the casting of votes on election day, which is manual. Every other thing we have been doing, they are all electronic. What do I mean? Accreditation of party agent is electronic. The submission of candidate name, we have a portal for it, is electronic. You know, the recruitment of our ad hoc staff now is electronic. You won't see in my office or our offices, you know, ad hoc, you know, staff, the corpus coming up to queue endlessly. No, you apply online. We look at your credential. If you are qualified, we pick you. The one you are used to, before it was smart card reader. Yeah. I can't remember the last time you voted. You'll be able to sit down in the studio here, select the party of your choice, select the candidate of your choice, vote, and you send it. And
Are we likely to have that in 2020?
we are not likely. No, it's too late. We are not likely.
Now, this electoral act, I mean, I just said, like in my intro, took about 12 years before we now, before the president assented to the bill, and it's now a law. And there are talks that the lateness of the president in assenting his signature to the bill has made INEC to actually adjust. What kind of adjustments have we had due to this?
Let me tell you that, let's admit without conceding that this bill, did not metamorphose into law. In other words, let's assume at the end of the day, Mr. President did not assent. It will not affect the workings of INEC. The only thing that will only affect is that we want to deepen the process of the election with the use of technology. Those are the areas that you will be missing out. INEC has been preparing.
That's what I'm saying. Dr. Abeokuta, you didn't get me.
Yes.
Now, maybe it's a two, well, you are preparing despite the fact that the bill was when the bill had not been assented to. Now, when it became a law,
the law, yes,
you have to shift.
No, we have to shift. Yeah, okay, I get you now. No, we have to shift.
Which areas have you shifted?
No, thank you. You know, usually in our own character, we always want to release the timetable early enough. But now there is a law that says when INEC should release the result, should be 360 days before the poll. We now discover that the one we have released before, at any rate, without formal notice of election, every Nigerian should know that second Saturday in the February of the election year is the presidential election. Second Saturday of the election year, February of the election year. The following month, second Saturday is the governorship. That is the design of the commission. But there is a law now that says, for you to release the notice of election, there must be 360 days. As at the time
that this should be done at a particular time, and this is the way it should be done. I'm looking at section now. Thank you. I remember section 39, which says parties must conduct primaries and submit their list of candidates at least 180 days before general elections. What happens if party A or party B
refuses to do?
Yes.
You don't need to ask that again. They saw what they did in the twilight of the 2019 general election. And commission does not have any interest. INEC has no political party. INEC is just, that is why when they have issues in their various congresses, you know, Congress has gone now, primary is coming.
Okay, maybe this is what I should ask.
Ask.
What happens after submission? There are legal issues and there are pronouncements.
No, before you ask that.
Okay.
I was thinking the question you were insinuating was, what happens where they refuse to follow the timeline?
Okay, let's start from there.
Which of course, that has a consequence.
Yeah.
If there are legal issues, they will join INEC, of course.
Yes.
Anybody in election must join INEC as a party.
Okay.
Because the decision of the court will have effect on INEC as to who INEC should relate with. I hope you get that. Now we have a timeline. We said, so date, obtain the form. So date, submit the form. So date, the names of your clear candidates must reach INEC before 12 a.m. so date.
Okay.
Baby Adeniran, what is your name now? Today, you know what happened in a particular state? A particular party ignored INEC. They disregarded our instruction. We went to the media, we said it, we were looking at them. At the expiration of that notice, the other party went to court. Even if they did not go to court, INEC has law to regulation to impose. And the court said no. That party cannot field any candidate. That is why in that state, from the governor to the list was filled by even somebody that did not even struggle or sweat.
And they are in government.
They have to be in government. So that is the consequence, the penalty for disregarding. Now there is now a law. There is a law now that says you have to do it. So where you deliberately or inadvertently...
The one you are talking about, after that they still went to court.
They went.
Wasted money.
Of course, now.
This time around.
No, the law is there. Because you will be a judge in your own case, in this case now. So our advice is that we believe the politicians or the political parties, our stakeholders, will key into the timetable of the INEC. And now, I trust them now. They can't play with INEC timetable again. They cannot.
All right, 2019 election. funding was a big
Yes,
problem.
thank you for that question.
INEC complained, and the money actually came considerably late. Now, this law says funding for the election must come a year before. Now,
Let me read it again. What do we call it now? Not clause. Section 3. Funds for general elections must be released at least 1 year before election. I mean,
how would this affect your activities and the election proper?
By this, you are talking about the fund for the election. Don't forget, every year INEC prepares budget. And money have always been released to us to do so many other activities. Don't forget, this year is not election year. The fund we have been spending late last year was even more than what we are going to spend, slightly more than what we are going to spend in 2023. But of course, election year budget is likely to be more because there will be infrastructure that will be provided. There are other things to be procured, vehicles and things like that. So, as it were, we have our fund with us. That is why you can see continuous voter registration going smoothly. It's because we have the fund. That's why you are going to see us in the next phase of CVR. We are going to start moving from registration areas. You see, I'm sure in Ogun State, if they notice that in OGTV, majority of you are not having your PVC. I know Elijah Akide may not have, maybe he has lost it, and you too. And the GM. It's an opportunity this time now for our office to rotate.
okay.
They can rotate to your place here. They can rotate to any community. So the target is for people to be able to participate and be captured in the CVR. And it's a lot of money to move from one look. It costs a lot of money. So for us, money has never been an issue. If there are, at a point in time we have money issue, my chairman, I trust him, he will cry out. But for now, we are home and dry.
Okay, I want to ask this question, but let me also say we can open the lines now, especially for people at home, especially politicians, to talk about this section 84, which is the 10th of the key provisions of the new Electoral Act. I would love it if politicians, it doesn't really matter which party you belong to, could just call and let us know how you feel. What is the pulse? What do you feel in the political circle about this one that says anyone holding political office, that is ministers, commissioners, special advisors, special Ds, essays, who hitherto have been part of the process, especially at the primary level.
What of the government?
Appointees.
Appointees. We are looking at appointees, political appointees, not elected officers.
Okay.
Now, these appointees have hitherto been part of the election, either primary, direct primary or indirect primary, part of delegates, because from past experience we had indirect, consensus, and what have you. Now, the law says, except they resign their appointment, they cannot be voted for, or they can also not vote. They cannot be part of any election, either primary or external. So, what do you think about this? That's why we're opening it. Now, so Dr. Abeokuta, let's look at this one. The total number of accredited voters will become a factor in, okay, all these ones good for you. But my question is, how ready is INEC to actually tackle? When you come with a law,
Yes.
our politicians,
Yes.
they also have a way to counter
circumvent
it. Now, are you saying, especially with the electronic methods we are using, the way you have explained, this one is foolproof? Nothing can be done.
No, I won't say that. I won't say that. No, I will not. I'm a realist. I don't pretend about it. No, I won't say that. I won't say that because
they're also thinking of how to.
What are you talking about?
I
just told you now I was in Cross River between Tuesday and Monday.
And you experienced, you experimented with some of these things.
Let us know your experience.
Yeah, let's
Let us know your experience.
No. Some of those things cannot be published. Though. Don't ask me.
Because when you publish
No.
they also go, okay, answer your question.
The point I'm trying to
Are
make,
these things foolproof?
they are not. They are not. If the politicians, our staff, security agencies, are still doing the same thing we are trying to correct through the law in the same way. And what do I mean? If INEC staff are still assisting politicians to manipulate the process, having known in the new law that where you have an affiliation with a political party or a politician and you do not disclose it and you still retain your identity as staff of the commission, you are you with me? You are liable to prosecution, and you are likely to go for 2 years imprisonment or fine of 5 million naira or both in the new law. If politicians are still used to carrying Ghana must go to various polling units
Vote buying.
to distribute money, whereas in section 22 or 24 of the new law, if you are arrested, you are liable to prosecution and you are likely to go to jail for 2 years or 500,000 naira fine or both. I hope you are with me. If on election day, the security agencies who are supposed to be watchful and see who is doing what, look elsewhere. Or they don't look elsewhere. They say, Mr. Man, you have given me, where's my own? You give me here. Or if the security agencies are the one aiding and abetting disruption of the process on election day. Today, in Cross River, at a point, I became garrison commander with numbers of mopo around me to rescue our staff, to rescue our, what's it called? Coppers. 2 of our coppers failed.
And that was a pocket election.
Yeah, pocket, God bless you, just to local government. 2 of our coppers fainted. So you can see what I mean.
Right. Let's take this call from Kemi. You continue from Ijebu. Kemi, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, please speak louder. How are you this morning?
We are fine, sir. We're fine, sir.
Okay, go ahead with your contribution.
Okay, sir. I've been hearing that thing that you said that anyone who has been appointed not to be here again. Can you hear what I'm saying, sir?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello? Yes. Now, it's good that they do like that. You understand, sir? The law said that politicians who have been appointed here, they have to allow another person to sit and on any appointment seat, so that this thing cannot stay on one place, because there are so many things happening in politicians. I'm not a politician, I'm a student. But when they allow another person to sit on that same position, not to be allowed to be contested again, that would be also even better than allow them to be sitting there on that seat twice or thrice. So that those people who are being qualified to sit on that seat, they will be allowed to sitting there. And it depends on their participation in any local government or any state. They cannot be appointing them there without doing their particular work they have to be doing. So I will say that the way they did it is, the way they sign it is even better.
Okay,
so
Kemi.
All those people who have stands will have stands on
okay,
that.
Kemi. Thank you, Kemi.
Yeah.
It's your opinion. We won't question it and we won't query it. Of course, that's why you opened.
But the law is clear.
But the law is clear.
The law is clear.
Yeah, you were almost running off.
So the point I'm saying is that our stakeholders must have genuine intention that we want to sanitize our electoral process together. INEC should not be thinking or having conversation around reforming the process, and they are reversing it.
But yes, we know that there could be hiccups here and there.
Yes.
But from INEC, no matter the problem,
Yes.
if you are able to vote
Yes.
and you vote,
Yes.
you cast your vote,
Yes.
your vote is safe. At
That
that
is
point.
what we have gained from this law. Because from what you read the other time, accreditation, where there are disputes now, those who voted and were accredited will determine the result. That's why I was emphasizing. I was just manipulating it. Politicians should not think that somebody like me now, imagine as a rep, somebody running to me to say, please now help me. How do I help you? Okay, tell me, where do you have your people that we can carry our machine to register them? I can help you to do that. But on election day, nobody, even Mr. Chairman cannot. And you know why? At Ogoja, Iyala Federal Constituency, by 6:37, sorry, Saturday, 6:37, our staff were already dropping the result on the portal. Polling unit by polling unit. In a particular polling unit, without local government, we have 118 polling units.
Let's take Dele from Ibadan. Hello, Dele.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Quickly, go ahead. How is Ibadan this morning?
I love this program this morning.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm happy about it.
Thank you.
First, before my comment, you see the man sitting with you there. Let me first of all admire him and praise him. He has been a trustworthy person, and he has done his job rightly. I've been following him in Oyo State. He's a man of honor and dignity.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
The corrections being made, that of the appointed
Yes.
people.
That's a gray area.
A lot of these governors and presidents and all these people, they use it to manipulate prices. So myself, I love it.
Okay.
That it is corrected.
Okay.
That form.
Okay.
So that people will actually work for what they want to achieve. Not manipulation, not stealing, not bypassing the right road. So that's my contribution. I love it and I support it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
So for you, you're talking about the security of the vote of the masses.
Yes.
It is because people believe that their vote will not count. That's why we have the apathy. Why are we going to vote? Their vote will not count.
I just announced
INEC, you have the result already. That's what they were telling me in Oyo State when I got there. They said, we will not come out. Somebody stood on one day. He almost went to go and carry the Ashe Ekpe to address me that, swear. I said, no, I can assure you, nobody will win any election in this state except with the will of the people. And I wouldn't have said that if INEC has not provided the platform. I didn't do any magic. So, on election day, your accreditation now is very key. But where you are going, people are still using violence.
Okay, this is a call from Kaduna, Dr. Abuke. Hello, Prince.
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, Prince.
I'm hearing you.
Yeah, we are hearing you too. Go ahead. You're welcome to the program.
Good morning, everybody in the studio.
Good morning.
I'm very happy with the signing of the bill and the aspect that has to do with the appointees not being part of participating to be voted for or to vote. Please, I know that people are clamoring, the politicians are clamoring that the appointees should be allowed. Please, let it not be so. Because I learned they should revisit that section. Let it even be enshrined in our constitution that once you are appointed for any political office, not elected, appointed,
Yes.
because if you are allowed to participate in that election, the saying, he who pays the piper the takes tune. That seat will influence your performance or your activity. So please let us stand on what is now on ground. If you have been appointed for any position, you will not participate. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So what we are saying is that we have ensured the sanctity or security of the accreditation process. And that is why that beavers must work. You see, the INEC is ensuring all the time to make sure that that beavers works very well anytime. In that election I told you, it was people have seen the result. If you have access to it, on election day, go to that portal. The result will be dropping, polling unit by polling unit, polling unit by polling unit. My chairman cannot tinker with that result.
That's why I'm worried with this section that says INEC can review results declared under duress. Can we still have results when declared under duress? With this
what are you talking about? As we were in Ogoja, like Cross River State, my other colleagues were in Imo State. Imo State has always been the epicenter for duress, for imposition, for harassment. It can happen. When it happens, the commission will sit down and take decision.
All right. I would like to take you up on two things in one. Number one, does that mean that with this electronic transmission of results, we are going to be having a faster time between the end of voting
and the time you get the result?
And number two, when you observe the political campaign, you see crowd. And then when you see the day of election, majority of those in the crowd don't even have something to vote with.
Very good.
Now, how is INEC going to do this in this less than 360?
As a rider to your question, are you not surprised that?
Okay, we are
oh, Elder David. Elder David, quickly, you're welcome to the program from Alimosho. Elder. Hello, Elder.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. God will bless you. My contribution, we thank this government for allowing this law to take place, to be passed. If this law was in place, PDP could have not arranged the election in Osun State, in Ekiti State, Edo State, and Ondo State. It's only this government that have that wisdom, that is so democratic, allow all this law to be passed. During their period, they not allow it because there is a way of bringing. This is a progressive government that now says, let the people decide whatever they want in government. And this is exactly what is happening. So the new law that is being passed by the Senate today is not explained by anybody. The government, the presidency did not interfere with them. They do according to the will of people. This is exactly what we want. In SDP, we have also A4. You line up, they count you, the result is counted. But right from 1999, CVP continued to dodge it until they were told at 2015. But let me tell you, they will never come back to this government again because Nigeria are not good. 2023, APC will see, we mark it down. I was CDP myself. I know what it is.
Okay, the rule says it is 150 days to election before you can. Anyway, thank you very much, Elder. Ever passionate about what he believes in. Yes, go ahead.
Anyway, don't let me join with him. So we have insisted that you will see results.
Okay.
So the point I was making was, before we got the final result, on our portal we have seen the way the result was going. So politicians now, you know what they now do? They have seen that on the portal. Sorry, they don't know that all the polling unit results have been uploaded. You know, after the polling unit, they have to go now move to RA collection center. So they thought that they could go to the RA level and disrupt everything. So what they did was to now start attacking one another, disrupting. The RA where I was, we needed to run with our staff and the corpers and our officials with the security to go and collect at a particular area command or a police command. So it is still there. Let violence be removed. Let somebody know that if I'm voted out, I am not wanted. That culture, that understanding must sink into our people. But they don't still understand though. No, they still believe they can walk through our staff. They still believe they can use security to harass. They still believe they can orchestrate violence and disrupt the process. There is need for us to change this orientation. Once this is changed, things will be better. Of course, on the side of the commission too, our staff are being monitored. All of us, look at it. There are so many, activities that are shrouded at the level of administration in secrecy. As a rec, the returning officer for the governorship, I may not know the person, the vice chancellor, maybe 30 or 50 minutes. I will just receive a mail such that I won't have any cause to interact with the person before.
Or be familiar with
you. Get the logic now. So INEC has been doing a lot of things. If you want to do election now, our EO, they will be moved across so that they won't have opportunity to interact with the ground they are already familiar with. These are the things. If we are doing this, politicians should not assist our staff to also cause.
Okay, Yusuf from Jos.
Hello?
You're welcome to the program, Yusuf. Yusuf, how are you? Hello, Yusuf, you are on from Jos.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning, go ahead.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
fine,
go
sir.
ahead.
Good morning, sir.
We can hear you, Yusuf.
My own contribution is about the politicians. It's a lady.
Go ahead, go ahead. Oh,
Okay, we lost that. Okay, I was asking a question about the population on campaign ground.
Yes,
And bulk
the
of
rider I was going to give to that was beyond the campaign.
maybe I should just add again.
When they
The
say,
number declared, especially at direct primary.
that is where I'm going. You don't get the logic now. Somebody will say direct primary of the party. He has 5 million, for example. But you get to the real election.
All parties combined.
Less than 500. That is to tell you that in that party level, or the crowd you are seeing, they use any means of identification to conduct such a primary. Ask any political party to use PVC. I don't know where you are following me. To use PVC as a means of identification for their primaries. You will see the reality. If I were any of the parties, that's what I would do, so that we can size ourselves up to know.
I agree with you.
You get the logic now.
Yeah.
But they will deceive themselves.
Party members should also have PVC.
They have to.
show that
They have to.
want to vote.
They
for-
don't have.
They don't. I agree. All
They
they
don't
want
have.
is to be part of
And that is why somebody comes to me and says,
Magomago of the primaries and
please,
collect their
help
money.
me. What can you do? I will say, okay, where are your own loyalists? Oh yeah, EO. Carry, because our own interest is to have more people
Yes.
to be
Part of the
registered. You don't get the logic now. So the party you belong is not my interest. You have your people, they are very many. It is the crowd I'm looking for. Some of them, they are not interested. Look at what we are doing now. We allow online registration. Technically, we won't say it. Yeah? Even Hakim Akintunde can say, oh yeah, OGTV, I have a laptop for you, all of you here. Oh yeah, come and do your online. He harvests them together so that it can be in a bulk registration. But in doing that, Hakim still need to go further by mobilizing you to INEC office to do the biometrics. That's how you complete. Some of them today, they are helping, according to them, they are helping INEC to register people here and there. They just leave it at that. That's why in a particular state I won't mention. If you go and look at in our charts, the number of those who have done online registration, they are in several millions. But go and look at those who completed it. Almost half, is even up to half, maybe 1/3. almost 1/3 only completed the process. So that is the real, and I'm happy journalists are also saying it, that when you get politicians, tell them the reality. Let one of them conduct primary or congress and say, oh yeah, where is your PVC? No PVC, no primary. That would solve the problem of deceiving themselves. And it will not say, I have this number at the primary, I must have. It's not so. It happened in one election recently. And we saw the entire result of the state. And we saw the entire, one of the candidates was saying, this is what I scored at the primary. I said, don't mind him. So that is just the thing. For the purpose of the crowd, the campaign, politicians should intensify to educate populace further. That I always tell them, when you are in your campaign ground, use 15 minutes to do voter education. Voter education in 2 ways. How many of you have registered? Then how do you vote on election day? We have over 200 void vote in the last by-election we did. People don't know how to vote properly. How many parties are doing that? Or smart card did that to conduct local government election. I'm looking for a state that will say accreditation is very key to the result of local government election.
Are we likely to see?
I don't know. You are the people that you are the one to interrogate them when you see them. Well, that they are appointment is not an issue. The law says social person, Mr. Governor should appoint. You cannot change that. That's the law. You cannot change that. If you want to change that, talk to your uncle and your brother in the National Assembly to change it. Don't talk about the governor. Don't talk about the commission. Talk about the reformation of the process. So that the same way, you are talking about INEC. What is INEC doing? Anywhere we go today, the trust is still not there. Only few will trust INEC. So let us address the process and forget about Mr. President.
Okay, quickly before we round off.
I want to add something, and that is, INEC is supposed to monitor the funding, the amount of money politicians spend in this. How much of this is INEC doing, and how much of prosecution?
INEC has directorate to monitor the activities. We have election and party monitoring.
Or is that an overburden too for INEC?
Department. It could be. It could be. Because election alone is enough for us to face. Because there are a lot of things to think out, to look at in election. It could be. So to your question, we are monitoring, and our department directorate is doing the needful in that regard. We monitor the number of posters, we monitor the number of billboards, we look at them and follow up.
You pass your reports to where it should be passed to.
We pass to. So it's for that agency now to see whether.
Thank you very much. It's been worthwhile discussing this issue of the amended electoral Act with Dr. Mutiu Agboke, the resident electoral commissioner of Oyo State. We want to thank you for, the education you have provided.
Thank you, sir.
Unfortunately, we couldn't have a politician here, but for those who called, and especially talking about the gray area where political appointees have been banned, according to this law, from being part, except they resign, from being part of any election, either primary or general election. That's maybe we should have a part 2 of this in the nearest future, and let's know the view of politicians and of course what they feel. But above all, the summary of all that we have been discussing given by Dr. Agboke is the fact that well, we have to be determined. It doesn't really matter the number of amendments, the amount of reform that you bring, if we don't change and we have the courage and the will to say we want to make Nigeria better. Election